Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And we've got a bit of a good one here. So if you like the channel, do please hit the subscribe button. It really helps. We're a political channel, and they get put, that YouTube puts us down in the ratings. So we need all the help we can get. But I think this video is one that you're going to hit the like button to. And when you're hitting that like button, if you're not already a subscriber, just move it across a bit and hit the subscribe button as well. Because I'm going to bring you a bit of stunning, revelationary news. Three scientists, three professors of political science have got together, studied all the information, cogitated, and come to the conclusion that Nicola Sturgeon may not have told the truth. I know. It's amazing. Who would have thought it, eh? But what we're talking here particularly is not just generally because she's a liar or anything so vague as that. It's that she didn't tell the truth about her reasons for leaving office. They've suggested that the claim that she said, oh, she just ran out of steam or whatever, just basically is a load of old rubbish. And they've highlighted three particular reasons why she felt she had to go. And it's quite good. Now, I've not read through the whole thing. That's not what I do. I do a hot take on it. I go through the story basically at the same time you do. But I was just sort of seeing the opening, the headline, obviously the opening line at the top, and actually the first couple of lines of the story, because when it comes on the screen, that's what you see. I haven't gone through the story, so I'll go through it with you. But just looking at what we're about to see, I think is going to be, well, entertaining. Here goes. So, Nicola Sturgeon's resignation was caused by three key pressures, and with Operation Branchform being just one of them. The former First Minister claimed she had simply run out of steam when she quit her role in February, but a new report disputes this, as it points to three reasons behind her resignation. Only three? I think these will be the three big ones. There's many more. But she just got to the end of the road because she knew everything was closing in. Everything, her carefully constructed house of cards was about to collapse in on her, and she knew she had to go. Otherwise, she'd have ended up in an 8x6 room for the next 5-6 years. Who knows? Possibly, allegedly, maybe. Anyway, a new report into the SNP has claimed that three pressures caused the resignation of Nicola Sturgeon, with one of them being Operation Branchform. So it's we knew that one was definitely one of the main reasons. She knew in advance that was coming. There's no way she didn't. So that's why she did. She skipped town, didn't she? She got out of Dodge before the marshals came in. It's also claimed that internal changes spearheaded by the former First Minister have led to a legitimacy crisis facing the party now in 2023. Well, there is no legitimacy for the party now, is there? I mean, it's a party of morons. They don't have any mandate to do the things they're doing. They're just inventing stuff as they go along because they haven't got any ideas. Anyway, Miss Sturgeon quit her role last February after becoming the longest serving leader of the Scottish executive, but insisted that there was no short-term reasons behind her departure. She lies. Instead, she claimed that she became disillusioned with the job and had taken the nationalists as far as she could. Again, absolute BS, and if you believe that, I've got a camper van I want to sell you. However, a new report by three political experts has disputed this, as they listed three issues which directly led to her decision and also sent the SNP into a downward spiral. It's more a death spiral now. They are literally circling the drain, and they're about to go down into the sewers. They're that bad. Their morals already have. The Nats are flatlining in the polls, and with her replacement, Humza Yousaf, not looked kindly upon by the majority of Scots. Not looked kindly upon, I would suggest, by even the majority of SNP supporters. Titled The Antinomies of Insurgency, the case of the Scottish National Party. I'm not sure. Antinomy, I know it's a metal, but isn't it like when you hold two opposing thoughts in your head at the same time? I think that's what that means. Anyway, the paper is written by James Foley and Ewan Kerr of Glasgow Caledonian University and Tom Montgomery of the University of Stirling, and it appears in the Political Quarterly Journal. It looks at the past, present and future of the party. I know it's got a past and I know it's got a present. I'm not entirely sure that it's got a future. The report suggests that Miss Sturgeon has not been telling the truth about why she resigned, or indeed about anything, as far as I'm aware. As they claim, it was due to three pressures, which were the crushing Supreme Court independence referendum defeat. Well done to the Supreme Court. She really sort of tied her flag to the mast on that one and picked the 19th of October. So, I mean, you're looking forward to, you've got another 16 days, ladies and gentlemen. 2 weeks on Thursday, and we'll have that independence referendum, apparently, that didn't happen. Anyway, the other one was the police probe into her party accelerating. That's when she found out that she was going to be questioned, and they wanted to know where all the money was, and she thought, oh, God, no, that was the big one, I think, for her. And also the divisions created by the Gender Recognition Reform Bill, a bill she realised that 99% of Scots were dead against, and made her out to look awful. But of course she had to go along with it in order to keep the Greens on board. So even if she didn't believe it herself, she still had to push it, relentlessly. And she knew that it was going to be very, very divisive. Anyway, they wrote, Sturgeon herself has minimised the relevance of GRR to her resignation and outright denied the relevance of the police investigations. Nonetheless, regardless of their proportional role, all three reflect the limits of the SNP's peculiar combination of politicisation and depoliticisation, and, relatedly, of mobilisation and demobilisation. That's why it's the antimony. You get the one, the politicisation, the depoliticisation, the mobilisation, the demobilisation. It's holding those two opposing things at the same time. Anyway, this issued from the 2014 referendum and its aftermath. Basically, yes, she lost in 2014 and in her mind couldn't accept the loss, couldn't accept democracy. And so she said, well, we've still got to push forward with this push for independence, even though I know we can't ever win it, rather than accepting it. The sign of a psychopath. Anyway, the authors also pointed out that the party's success was due to a strategic depoliticisation, as layers of civic society and media opinion in Scotland and beyond accommodated to the SNP as the natural governing party. Rather than question them, they just allowed them to get away with it. This took advantage of multiple crises at Westminster, as well as the popular opinion after the first independence referendum. The popular opinion, surely, was that you lost. Anyway, they wrote that the vote brought a clear break in historic assumptions between Scottishness and Labourism, and that the Westminster-led austerity symbolised the retreat of the British state as a guarantor of social citizenship. But that isn't the case. It's just that was the line they were putting across, because they needed to put something across. But that social citizenship is exactly what Goebbels suggested back in the early 30s. He was the architect of this sort of thing. So you can see what playbook they're straight out of. Anyway, all of this could have led to the SNP dominance continuing if the party had not been caught up in a police investigation into its finances. The report adds, reckoning with this contradiction could have been postponed for some years if the police investigations had not intervened. But the model's logical limits would prevail eventually. In other words, they would eventually have to accept, regardless, that it was time to drop independence for the time being. It was a non-achievable goal. The authors were also damning about Miss Sturgeon's time in charge and highlighted the huge membership drop from 126,000 during its 2019 peak to 72,000 by March this year, and probably even fewer now. They wrote that few policy advancements had been attributed by the Sturgeon years. Well, of course, it was the big gender thing that drove a lot of people away, because they're just so against it. They don't want grown men in rooms getting undressed in front of young girls. Any setbacks on topics ranging from child poverty and the poverty-related attainment gap, which has only got worse under the SNP, to environmental targets and the hospital waiting times. Again, they've all got worse under the SNP. Were blamed on circumstances outside of SNP control, but they were failing before COVID. They're saying, oh, it was Brexit and COVID, but they were failing before COVID. We've seen the numbers. They add, while supporters may insist on some policy achievements, nope, can't think of one. There is limited evidence that any success impacted on public perceptions. And the poll, conducted immediately after her resignation, asked members of the public to list Sturgeon's best policy achievements. And aside from COVID-19 management, wait till she's in court for the deaths of 5,500 people, we hope, one day, possibly, allegedly. A public health emergency largely focused on effective communications, where she just lied to people non-stop, allegedly. The highest ranked policies were the baby box, which was a failure, furthering the cause of independence, which was a failure, improving healthcare, which was a failure, and of course the COVID dealings, which was also a failure. Polls, while Sturgeon was in power, likewise show waning confidence in Scotland's devolved public services. And boy, it's not just the confidence that's waned, it's the service level itself. It's all been a failure ever since she took over, because she is a psychopath. She's a divisive character. Where people used to work together to achieve an end, she divided and went to extremism. And that is why Scottish politics to this day remains extreme. And it's why the SNP supporters are so madly swivel-eyed and extreme and filled with hate. Because they are effectively now little more than a tourist organisation. And I don't mean tourist. And that's what she has done. She has destroyed politics. She's destroyed the country. She's destroyed the SNP. And she's destroyed any chance of independence because of her absolute loathing of all things English. So there we go. She's had all these reasons to fail, and has failed for all those reasons. Anyway, I shall round off and we shall come up. I think there may even have been more to it than that. There may have been pressure from others near and around her. But certainly she's always said and claimed that it had nothing to do with the police. And yet I think we all kind of felt it certainly did. And the GRR, which is what she said roughly, oh, well, not getting that through, blah, 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 was, that isn't the sort of thing she would resign over. It's the sort of thing she'd fight against, but she had to because of the green issue. But that on top of everything else might have been the pressure. I think also certainly losing the court case, because that was embarrassing for her. It's the first time she'd ever lost something like that. She went in thinking she's going to win because she is Nicola Sturgeon. Dun, dun, dun. And basically she was handed her own arse by the court, told, no, don't care who you are, you don't have that right, off you go, you funny little woman. And of course she was embarrassed by it. And I think that was possibly what kicked it into gear for it to even begin to coalesce as a thought. And then when the police thing came up, and then the gender thing came up, and I think it all coalesced into a big snowball of fail, and she realised she had to go. Everything was about to collapse around her. And now, of course, everything else is. And you're going to have this COVID investigation. And then they're after her WhatsApp. She claiming she doesn't have them. She was told that she's not to delete them. She doesn't know which ones they've got. And so she has deleted them. And they show that they've got the receipt from her and it's not on her phone. Then, of course, that's contempt of court. That's jailable. So I think she could be in deep, deep trouble with that. So good. About time. Anyway, I thought that was quite interesting. I thought that was a good take on what did it. And of course, these people that have done this report, they're experts on this field. They know all about it. They know what they're talking about. And so now, of course, do we. Marvellous. Thank you very much for watching. And as I said at the beginning, I do hope that you can press the like button on that. And if you are pressing the like button and you haven't yet subscribed, slip across, hit the subscribe button, help the channel grow, and we'll bring you more of the same, and we'll bring you the truth every day. Thank you and goodbye.